presentation a bit differently than yesterday. We'll start with a short PowerPoint presentation, and then we'll go into a 12-minute video about our project. A quick introduction to who we are, at least a family. My two grandfathers moved to Nigeria in the 1940s. My parents were both born in Nigeria, and my father went to study in the US and came back as soon as he got a diploma to Nigeria. My uncle was there, and they're both partners in everything they've been doing since. And we are in everything from manufacturing to hotels to eventually a bit of agriculture, we're looking at that as well, and real estate and construction. And so we are very, very, very heavily invested in the country, and we will continue, especially as this is going in, to be invested in the country for the coming decades, century. I'm third generation Nigerian, my kids are fourth generation Nigerian, and it's when we get presented with opportunities overseas, we most of the time, if not all the time, say no. We're really very well invested, and this is where our area of focus is. We strongly believe in the growth of the country. We had a downturn, as I mentioned yesterday. Yes, fine. Every country do have downturns. It's our first major downturn in 30 years, which is very impressive. That's a track record. And again, as I said yesterday, instead of printing our way out or printing the cash out of taking way too much debt to get out of the recession, we actually took tough decisions, restructured, and we will be a lot more resilient in the coming decades, not years. We will diversify the economy. We will move to a lot more focus on agriculture, manufacturing, and many other fields, services, tech. Nollywood grew significantly in the past few years. And this is all what we need to make Nigeria really start growing at a very fast pace. And now is the best time, actually. Now we're starting on very, very solid foundations again. So that's the introduction. We'll start talking a bit more about Eko Atlantic and Nigeria. So 183 million in 2015, I think 190 million today. 1 in 5 African is Nigerian. We had a GDP of 583 billion in 2015, and we should be 1.6 trillion by 2030. Oil only represents about 10% of the country's GDP. We are a very diversified economy. Now what we need is to basically start exporting more products than just oil. Population growth, this is a very, very, very important chart, especially for us in real estate. With a population of 183 million in 2015, we should be getting Nigeria should be 440 million people by 2050. That's a huge amount of growth. And by the end of the century, the UN predicted that we should be around 1 billion people. And that means we need a lot of residential space, we need a lot of manufacturing, a lot of education, a lot of everything to be able to support this growth. Also, one of my favorite graphs is this one. It's not very easy to read, but what it says is that this population is growing, but it's also growing in wealth. So the top 0% will suddenly become 1% with a much bigger population in the next 15 years. The top 20, the second 20, then the second tier, which is like the upper middle income of 1%, will suddenly become 8% in 15 years. And finally, the middle income of 21% will become 41% of the population. So wealth is going to rise. And if we look at this graph maybe 15 years ago, it may have been even much more different than what it is now. So there is an upward trend, and we will be seeing this over the coming years. Lagos, this is where our project is, most populated state in Nigeria. Largest economy in Nigeria. It's a fifth, on its own, it's a fifth economy in Africa. It is the country's commercial and financial and industrial center, and it's one of the fastest growing cities in the world. It is estimated to be one day the largest city in the world by the end of the century, and most of the real estate activity in the country happens in Lagos. So Eko Atlantic, right on Victoria Island, we're not far off. All we have to do is cross the street and then we are into Eko Atlantic. It will reach basically the second roundabout in Lekki. So we are adjacent to both Lekki and Victoria Island. There's access points on both areas. What could take an hour ride to go from Victoria Island to Lekki would probably take 5 minutes ride to cross the Eko Atlantic, because we are providing a lot of roads and all the infrastructure design is designed to make it as easy to drive around with as minimal traffic as possible. It's a private development, 100% private, supported by both the state and federal government, adjacent to Victoria Island and Lekki. It is estimated that there will be 300,000 people living in Eko Atlantic and 200,000 people coming in and out for work. We also recently became a free zone. And what's the goal of this? We want to make it very easy for businesses overseas and in Nigeria to set up their offices in Eko Atlantic, and we want to become the financial center of Africa. That financial center shouldn't be out of Dubai, shouldn't be out of South Africa, shouldn't be out of even Europe. We are the biggest economy in Africa, and this is where all the headquarters have to come in, and that's where all new, even startups, should be able to come in and at a very low entry point be able to start doing business. Co-working space, extremely, extremely important. It allows a one-man company to set up shop, as it allows also growing startups from overseas to decide to come to Nigeria, a very easy entry point to start business in Nigeria. A master plan, I mean, just to give an idea of what we have a canal that's going through the entire city. We have a marina district where we will have a lot of pedestrian area with entertainment. It's going to become a touristic attraction. And our shopping mall is going to be one of the largest shopping malls in sub-Saharan Africa. And it's connected to VI and very easy access. We want to make it a very strong tourist destination. In terms of infrastructure, we will be providing 24/7 electricity, water, sewage treatment, fiber optics to every building. This is already, a lot of these elements are already in line today, operational. And everything is going to be underground, and it will be an extremely pedestrian-friendly city. We don't see wires above the streets, we don't have open gutters, everything is going to be underground and very, very, very safe. Here's a picture that was taken a year ago of our financial district. Street lights are already operational. We're already planting our trees, and it's really when we come on site and we welcome everyone to come and visit us and do a tour, it's a very impressive, it's even much more impressive than even on all the videos would show. Some images, before the images, let's play the video.
Is a unique new city within a city that's being built.
I hope you enjoyed. So, as I mentioned yesterday, this was taken, a lot of videos were taken in 2016. Today, a lot more development has happened since. The canal, for example, you could see some sand on the side, etc. Today it's all water. We're now finalizing the work on the marina so that we can finally have the water in the marina. From what we see is, from our experiences, when we first started it was all water. And it was actually a very scary sight. We had a very tiny stretch of road and there were massive waves hitting Victoria Island and there was very serious erosion. So when we first started the project, it was also a very scary task because how do we go and tackle this very, very tough ocean? And with time, with a lot of engineering, a lot of studying, some strong partners, we started basically reclaiming land. And when we started reclaiming land, we had a bit of a stretch of sand, it was nice. Then we saw a lot of sand with no roads, and it was very nice. Then we started seeing dirt roads. We're starting to feel that the city's coming up. Finally, we started having roads and trees. And now we're starting to feel that, yes, now we're starting to see how the city is taking shape. And finally, last year, we had a residential building that came up, the first residential building, with tenants moving in, and now we're seeing life. And that showed that we had a lot of satisfaction out of that. And the first office building is also ready, and with tenants planned to be moving in very soon. There are many other buildings under plan. Shopping mall is also under plan, and we believe it will be attracting millions of people to the site on a yearly basis. And just I'm going to run through some quick images of real concepts of designs that we're working on. So for example, these are office towers on the business districts. What we want to do is to always make whatever we design, we want to have street life as well. So whenever we have a tower on the ground floor, we want a lot of retail. We want people to easily cross the streets, go get a coffee, go get lunch, go buy whatever they need to buy for their offices or on the way back for anything they need for the way back home.